From the Center for Music Learning, I'm Dr. Micah Killian, here with some thoughts on practice. If you're a musician looking to practice more effectively, it's a good idea to spend more time watching excellent musicians practice. Now, it's a pretty safe guess that it's not terribly common for most music students to watch artist-level musicians practice. As an example, the violinist Hilary Hahn, who's been a champion of opening the doors to the practice room, said in a recent New York Times article that as a student, she never saw someone practice and had no idea how others achieved what they achieved. Individual practice, this central part of the lives of all professional musicians, is hardly ever shown to students. This leaves one of the most important parts of musical development almost totally in the dark. Miss Hahn, for one, has done a huge service to the musical community by demystifying her own practice and encouraging musicians of all ability levels to share and embrace not only the sorts of polished performances that we tend to associate with great musicianship, but all the messiness that it takes us all to get there. I just think, wouldn't it be interesting if it was more common for music students to watch the practice of excellent musicians specifically to learn how they improve? Think of how valuable it could be for you to see your favorite musician taking a passage or a lick or a piece from I'm seeing this for the very first time, all the way to I can play this beautifully and accurately every single time I try. In the course of my own work at the Center for Music Learning, I've had the great pleasure of watching a lot of excellent musicians practice, and I can say for certain that there is so much to learn. I usually just try and observe the practice as it occurs with no narration or explanation from the person practicing. I just try really hard to notice what it is they do moment to moment to make difficult music not just possible, but beautiful and reliable. I try to see and hear what their learning sounds like. When watching an expert musician practice, I'm really asking, why do they do what they do when they do it? When they repeat a passage, can I tell what's different? Why do they stop playing when they do? What are they thinking about? In other words, I'm wondering how it is they make change happen. The goal is not necessarily to do what excellent musicians do in the practice room, or even really hear what they hear. The ultimate goal is to listen how they listen. And that's a big deal because it's expert listening that drives expert learning. So, music students, if you're interested in performing more like your favorite musician or your teacher performs, don't only study the polished performances that they give, although that's obviously important. Ask if you can watch how they learn. Really observe them changing an undoable passage of music into a doable one. Try and think like they think by listening to what their learning sounds like.